The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attain true devotional service. Above down to the lotus feet we pray all reverence. Banish grace from across the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is that my consciousness purified by the words emanating from the lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is the perfection of the physical soul desires. He opens my heart and eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From near static Brahma emanates, by individuals destroyed. The baby spiritual image of God. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor and Lord master of the devotees. O Master, mercy upon us, and give us shade of your lotus feet. Your faith spread all over the three worlds, and we take shelter of your lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai! Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhagati Satma. 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 Bando Mui Savadana Mate. Bando Mui Savadana Mate. Bando Mui Savadana Mate. Yahara Prasare Bhai Bhavatoriya Jai. Yahara Prasare Bhai Bhavatoriya Jai. Yahara Prasare Bhai Bhavatoriya Jai. Krishna Prapti Hoya Hoite. Krishna Prapti Hoya Hoite. Krishna Prapti Hoya Hoite. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Sitete Koriya Kya. Padma Vakya Sitete Koriya Kya. Arana Koriyo Mane Asa.
Charane Rati Ese Utamagati Sri Guru Charane Rati Ese Utamagati Ye prasare pure sarva asa Ye prasare pure sarva asa Kakirano dello ye Amme Prabhu se Kakurano dello ye Amme Prabhu se Vigname de proposito Vigname de proposito Bhakti ahote abhina vinasayate Bhakti ahote abhina vinasayate Mere gaya haratarito Mere gaya haratarito Karuna Sindhu Alamaya Narabandhu Guru Karuna Sindhu Alamaya Narabandhu Lokanath Lokera Jivana Lokanath Lokera Jivana Tengo Shukri Bhuvana Tengo Shukri Bhuvana Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Shunyavadi Paskatya Desatarine Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Jaya Jagannath Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Jagannath Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Jagannath Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Jagannath Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan. Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Shri Shri Gauranitai. Jaya Radha Gopinata, Radha Gopinata, Radha Gopinata, Sri Radhe. Radha Gopinata Sri Radhe. Jaya Radha Gopinata Radha Gopinata Sri Radhe. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Hare Hare Bol. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Krishna. Hare Krishna. Om Lord Shri 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 Hare Krishna. Indra refused to honor the garland given to him by a sage, and he lost his kingdom.
You avoided the trap.
Yes. Either goes.
Mac or
PC.
Okay, so I have this mic
Oh.
or no? No, this one. Normal VGA and this one. Mic. What do you have? HD?
I have HDMI and VGA.
Okay, VGA is fine then.
Yeah, just first we will chant the verse and then. Today we have Akshaya Tritiya. So it's a very auspicious day for all the spiritual activities. So everything we do or start on such an auspicious day gives millions of times more. So it's like one class, like 1,000 classes. One round, like 1,000 rounds. Of course, doesn't mean stop at one round.
What about mistakes?
And it's Parashuram, I think. Parashuram's appearance also today.
Beginning of Chandan.
Chandan Yatra, yes.
I don't know about Parashuram. It doesn't mention in my Vaishnava.
And also Ganga's descent. Ganga has descent. And the book?
The holy book. You don't know by heart the verse?
Of course. What else?
And purport also.
Yeah. It's Prahladananda Maharaj. He knows so many purports by heart.
He was giving class and electricity went out. He just went on.
Continue. Yeah. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jai Gopi Jana Yasodanandana Brajadana Randana Yasodanandana Brajadana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Jai Vishnu Patra Mahamsa Karanga, Adipurasa Stutara Saraswati Srimad Goswami, Abhayacharya Navinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananda Kuri Vaishnava Ki Jai, Nirantarat Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Nidai Gopi Ramana, all glories to their Samu devotees, glories to their Samu devotees, all glories to their Samu devotees, Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Yesterday we were speaking about Anukulyana as the heart of bhakti, main element of bhakti. And Anukulyana, Prabhupada translates as favorable, which is a very mysterious notion, concept, favorable for Krishna. So, to make it more clear, we tried to explain it as the intention to make Krishna happy. That not just doing something that pleases Krishna, but with the intention to, we also want him to be pleased. Which is a subtle but very important difference. And so therefore, before the class, always we chant the 12-syllable mantra, which indicates that we are doing this, we are in the class, we are studying Bhagavatam not for any goal in the modes, which are ruled by Aniruddha, Pradyumna and Sankarsana. Yes. Chaturvyuha. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Prabhupada says something very mysterious. He says, Sankarsana is the super soul in the heart of snakes, Rudra, thieves, I think Yama, like this. And Pradyumna is the super soul in the heart of Brahma, Cupid, passionate kings. And Aniruddha is the super soul in the heart of Dharma, Manus, and Brahmanas, pious Brahmanas. But Vasudeva indicates that our purpose is beyond the modes. In other words, not for me, Krishna, but for you, for your pleasure. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We have two verses where we have one without a purport and one on the board. So I will read the first one. Nahe tasmin kule kaschit niksatva kripana puman pratyakyata pratisrutya yova data dvijataye. I have known that even until now, no one taking birth in your family has been poor poor-minded or miserly. No, Prabhupada has such a nice word, poor-minded. Poor-minded. I don't think it's a very often used word in English, is it? Poor-minded.
Strong-minded.
Huh?
Usually we say strong-minded.
Strong-minded, even small-minded, but poor-minded, it's very interesting. Kripana, so poor-minded. Has, you could probably give a seminar on just on this word. Poor-minded. Or miserly. Geizhals. How do you say this in Flemish or Dutch? Miserly. Geizhals in German. It's very interesting because I cannot. Miserly even for a sweet word. No, it's too bad for him. I cannot say that. Geizhals. Miser. Kako? Ja? Gierig. So, like, okay, it's like gierig means. All right, so poor-minded. So he says, no one in your family has ever been poor-minded or miserly. No one has refused to give charity to brahmanas. So today is the perfect day for charity. Any kind. They say, also they say that today was the day when Sudama gave this little morsel of chipped rice to Krishna. Yeah, that's why he got a palace better than Indra's, with emerald floor, coral columns, and sapphire walls. So we are living in a palace, but there is still a little more space to go to Krishna's standards. So no one has refused to give charity to brahmanas, nor after promising to give charity has anyone failed to fulfill his promise. And text 4. Na santi tirte yudicharti nartita. Na santi tirte yudicharti nartita. Parang mukha yetva manasvino nripa. Parang mukha yetva manasvino nripa. Yushmat kuleya yashasamalena. Yushmat kuleya yashasamalena. Prahrada udbhati yato dupake. Nasamdi tirte yudicharti nartita. Nasamdi tirte yudicharti nartita. Paran mukhayet vamanasvino nripa. Paran mukhayet vamanasvino nripa. Yushmat kuleyat yashasamalena. Yushmat kuleyat yashasamalena. Prahrada udbhati yato dupake. Prahrada udbhati yato. Nasanti tirte yudicharti nartita. Nasanti tirte yudicharti nartita. Param mukhayet vamanasvino nripa. Param mukhayet vamanasvino nripa. Yushma kalkuleyat yashasamalena. Yushma kuleyat yashasamalena. Prahrada udbhati yato dupake. Prahrada udbhati yato dupake.
Nasanti tirte yudicharti nartita.
Nasanti tirte yudicharti nartita.
Paran mukhayet vamanasvino nripa.
Paran mukhayet vamanasvino nripa.
Yusmat kuleyat yashasamalena.
Yusmat kuleyat yashasamalena.
Prahrada udbhati yato dupake.
Prahrada udbhati yato dupake.
Nashanti tirte yudicharti nartita.
Nashanti tirte yudicharti nartita.
Param mukhayet Tvamana Shvino Vidva
Paramukaye Tvamana Shvino Vidva
Yusmat Kureyat Yasasamalena
Yusmat Kureyat Yasasamalena
Parada Udbhati Yato Dupakti
Parada Udbhati Yato Dupakti Sankipite Yudhikati Natita Sankipite Yudhikati Natita Paramukaye Tvamana Shvino Vidva Paramukaye Tvamana Shvino Vidva Yusmat Kureyat Yasasamalena Yusmat Kureyat Yasasamalena Parada Udbhati Yato Dupakti Parada Udbhati Yato Dupakti. Please.
Nashanti Tirte Yurisharti Nartita
Nashanti Tirte Yurisharti Nartita
Paramukaye Tvamana Shvino Vidva
Paramukaye Tvamana Shvino Vidva
Yusmat Kureyat Yasamalena
Yusmat Kureyat Yasasamalena
Parada Udbhati Yato Dupakti
Parada Udbhati Yato Dupakti.
Na, not. Santi, there are. Tirthe, in holy places, where charity is given. Yudhi, in the battlefield. Cha, also. Artina, by a Brahmana or a Kshatriya. Artita, who have been asked. Parangmukha, who refused their prayers. Literally means they turned away their face. Parangmukha. That's the most effective way if somebody bothers you with requests for donation, you just pretend you don't hear. So they never did like this. Such persons. To indeed. Amanasvina. Such low-minded, low-grade kings. Nripa. O King, Bali Maharaj. Yushmat Kule. In your dynasty. Yat. Therein. Yashasa Amalena. By impeccable reputation. Prahlad Maharaj. Udbhati arises. Yatha as. Urupa the moon. Ke in the sky. Translation imperfect, but he's doing Gracious Prabhupada. O King Bali. Never in your dynasty has the low-minded king been born who, upon being requested, has refused charity to Brahmanas in holy places or a fight to Kshatriyas on a battlefield. And your dynasty is even more glorious due to the presence of Prahlad Maharaj, who is like the beautiful moon in the sky. Yeah, recently we could all relish the, what was it, blue moon, super moon, and something else. Full moon, and I mean some three rare occasions. Blue moon, super moon, and something else was there. It was very big and very close and very bright and some, yeah. Purport. The symptoms of a Kshatriya are given in Bhagavad Gita. One of the qualifications is the willingness to give charity, dana. A Kshatriya does not refuse to give charity when requested by a Brahmana, nor can he refuse to fight another Kshatriya. A king who does refuse is called low-minded. In the dynasty of Bali Maharaj, there were no such low-minded kings.
Om Ganati Manandasya Gananjana Shalaka Chakshurmedamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhishya Kripa Sindhubevacha Patitanam Pavane Vaishnavi Namo Namaha Yasya Prasadadakyopi Sadhya Sarvagyatam Vrajesa Shri Chaitanya Devame Bhagavan Samprasidatu. May Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, be fully merciful unto me. By His grace, a complete fool can get all knowledge in one moment. Very convenient. I like.
Where's the reference of this verse?
I think it's the first verse of Antya Lila, or maybe it's the first of Madhya 25. It's, there are such beautiful verses in the beginning of each chapter. Another one is Shri Chaitanya Padam Bhoja Madhupavyo Namo Nama Katanchidashaya Desham Shvapidat Ganda Bhagavat. I offer my respectful obeisances to all the devotees of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who are like the honeybees, who always drink the honey of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lotus feet. If someone takes, even a dog, by taking shelter of such devotees, somehow or other, in any way, even a dog will get a share of that honey. Another one from the beginning. Tam Shrimad Krishna Chaitanya Devam Vande Jagat Gurum Yasyanu Kampaya Shvapi Yasyanu Kampaya Shvapi Tam Shrimad Krishna Chaitanya Devam Vande Jagat Gurum Yasyanu Kampaya Shvapi Tarit one two verses get mixed. One who I offer my respectful obeisances to the teacher of the whole world, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Even if a dog, Mahadev, Santaret Sukham, by his grace, even a dog can cross a big ocean happily and easily. Happily and easily. There are several such nice verses. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. King Bali is one of the 12 Mahajans. One of the 12 Mahajans. Great teachers who show the path. There is a famous verse saying that you cannot understand what is the proper action either by logic nor by because people, a more intelligent person can defeat some other opinion, nor even by what scriptures, many scriptures say, but dharmasya tatam nihitam guhayam mahajano yanagata sapanta. But the truth of religion is hidden in the heart of Mahajanas. Mahajanas, great personalities like Bali Maharaj. He is one of the 12 greatest teachers. So here he shows in this story how to achieve perfection. He's the classic example of how to achieve perfection by one of the 9 processes of bhakti, Atmanivedanam. Atmanivedanam. These are 9 core processes of bhakti. Self-surrender. Self-surrender. Or giving everything to Krishna. And yesterday we discussed how he did not just give the kingdom, which is certainly nice to give a kingdom, but what is even more impressive, he gave it happily. He gave it happily, and he did not take any offense when he was still tested afterwards. So this is something we probably will discuss also tomorrow. Some tests Krishna gives to us on the path.
So, suffering in Krishna consciousness is one of the most popular seminars and topics. Seldom discussed, rarely discussed. Definitely not on Sunday feast. So this is but important topic. So he had the whole universe. He conquered Amaravati. So he was a very powerful king, but he knew that just getting something is not enough. You know that what is this saying? A fool and his money are soon parted. A fool and his money are quickly parted.
Yeah.
Right? So we can get something. A person can get something, but that's something like passion. Everybody knows what's really difficult is to keep it and maintain it. Yes, that's why the universe is maintained by Vishnu. So creating is not easy. Destroying is also not easy. But keeping it, that's the real challenge. To maintain something. That's only by Krishna. Can be done only by Krishna. So Bali Maharaj knew it. So he knew he can conquer. He can get the higher planets. But to keep it, he needs more juice on his credit card, more Shakti, more Punya. So therefore, he immediately started doing a sacrifice, a huge sacrifice, guided by the Brahmanas. And there, on the request of Aditi, the mother of Indra, comes Vamanadev. And Vamanadev takes birth. He takes birth as a beautiful Brahman boy, effulgent, and he is coming to that sacrifice, and he's shining, he's effulgent. So that's a good tip for book distributors, and if somebody collects some funds, that's a very good technique. If you can shine, be effulgent, that's probably very helpful. I heard from Manidhar Prabhu was saying that when the German police was still that old type, stereotype German type of police, now they are super sweet. Have you seen them like in the recent, I don't know, 15 years, 10 years? They are first of all dressed in a very non-threatening way. Yeah, some funny green color, and they are trying to be very soft, gentle. Yeah, they worked hard for the last 50 years to break the stereotypes, to change the mood. But 50 years ago, 40 years ago, it was still the old type, and they tried to stop devotees. And they would arrest devotees for distributing books, and Manidhar Prabhu was saying that they had a little circular. They had a little information notice for policemen, which said how to recognize a Hare Krishna. So it said there that a Hare Krishna can be dressed like a normal person. So by dress, you may not recognize him. However, there is one sign, two signs were given, that they will usually be smiling, and there will be some effulgence, Ausstrahlung. So I always imagine that, old type, old school policeman looking, are you shining? You are shining! Come here! He also is joking that whenever somebody becomes a devotee, he has to make a new passport. Because the old passport, they don't recognize you. That was my experience. I was crossing a border, and I had an old passport and a new passport. So I first gave the old passport to the Lithuanian border guard with long hair and existential, cynical, frown, scowl. Life is bitter and useless. So he looked at this, looked at me, looked at that. He said, "Do you have any other?" I said, "Okay, I have a new one. Yeah, this." And there was, shaved off. He looked at this and looked at that, looked at me and says, "This is not you. This is you." in a very philosophical, he thought he's very philosophical. That's your true appearance. So Vamanadev came like that, in such a effulgent way. Of course he's God, that's, we cannot compete. And Bali Maharaj immediately offered him charity, and Vamanadev said, give me 3 paces of land, 3 steps. And Bali Maharaj said, oh, it seems you are young. It seems you are a little young. So he says, I'm sorry, maybe you still didn't get it. When you ask something from me, the guy got the whole universe. You take something that you never have to ask for anything again in your life. So maybe you didn't understand. I can give you a kingdom. I can give you a planet. How about a planet? If somebody offered you a planet, would you take a planet? Or a continent? What do you think about it? Some say no. Too much moderation. Well, how about it? It could be a very civilized planet. It could be a very pious planet also. So, therefore, Vamanadev will say that if somebody cannot be satisfied with 3 steps of land, that person will not be satisfied with the whole universe either. So one needs to know how to be satisfied. And then Shukracharya says, stop, don't give him anything. That's Vishnu. He's this guy is a brahmachari. And then Bali Maharaj famously goes against the order of his spiritual master, Shukracharya. Because he says, if he says, I don't want to break my promise, and even if it is Vishnu, then that's the perfection of life, to offer something to offer. Even if you say he'll take everything, isn't that the perfection of life? Will he not take everything anyway at the end? So he goes on and offers, and then with 1 step Vamanadev has grown and he's covered the whole universe horizontally, Bhumandala, the plane, the ecliptic plane, the so-called flat Earth. It's not flat Earth, it's just the plane of zodiac where the planets rotate. So it's more or less in one, the solar system is more or less in one plane. So he covers that, and then he grows more and he covers the whole universe vertically, and that's how Ganga, that's today actually, that's happened today. Yeah, try it, yeah. If Ganga descends, well, I'm not sure, because I don't know if this is the Ganga descending from the coverings of the universe, or is it descending on Earth? Maybe both, could be both, I don't know. But it could be this day when the yagya was performed and Ganga descending. And then he says, where do I put my 3rd step? You promised me 3 steps, and there's nothing left. And then Bali Maharaj says, oh, I'm very sorry, please forgive me. And then he says, the proprietor, the owner is bigger than the property. So maybe you can put it on my head. Yes, and then he, so some say that our tilak is a symbol of that act of Vamanadev accepting, putting his food on the head of Bali. Thing is, it didn't stop there. Usually when we tell this story, that's where we stop. But if you read the book, you see Vamana accuses Bali, says, hey, you didn't fulfill your promise. And then the wife comes and says, you always are like this, you're always proud, you're always offering more than you can do. Doesn't go that, this joke about if a man said he'll do something, he will do something. And you shouldn't remind him about it every half a year. He said he'll do. Don't remind me every 6 months. So you're always like this, you always say something you will do, and that's too much for you, and this time again, and now you got yourself in trouble. What do you think belongs to you? What do you think you can give to God? And Prahlad Maharaj comes and he says, you are attached and everything, and only then Brahma comes and he says, what is happening? My Lord, somebody offers you with the love of one leaf, you give yourself. This person has given you a universe, and you're giving him such hard time. I'm bewildered, I'm confused. Why are you giving him such hard time? So then Vamana smiles and he says, okay, I'm giving him Sutala, which is the best. But the thing is that you mentioned that it shows how Bali Maharaj not only gave him externally the universe, he also gave it happily. He gave it with a desire to please Krishna. Can you turn on the screen? By the way, do you have a laser pointer?
Not here.
That's okay. Maybe tomorrow, or somebody can kind of. I somehow thought maybe I didn't bring my.
Yes, it was. Maybe if you can put a little bit more here on that side.
Which was this is a very important verse from Rupa Goswami, and this is Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.1.11. Some people say that this is the most important verse of all the Vedic scriptures. There is a parallel verse he gives from Narada Pancharatra, Sarvapa Divinirmuktam. So this is the definition of our process, Bhaktir Uttama. And my experience is that no matter how many times I speak about it, it's always interesting, because both for me and also for those who have already heard it. And also I've noticed that each next time people get some other element, some next layer. So it's mentioned that there are 5, by Rupa Goswami, there are 5 ingredients. He says that 3 of them are Sarupa Lakshanas. So this is why in this diagram I depict them as hearts. And 2 are Tatastha, secondary characteristics, which make bhakti pure. So these 3 are making bhakti. With these 3, Anukulyana Krishna Anushilanam, bhakti becomes bhakti. And the other 2, Anavilashtashunam Gyana Karmadyanavritam, they make bhakti pure. So usually we take bhakti just to be Anushilanam, just some practice. We just do something. And that's certainly glorious and wonderful. And that's certainly super powerful. There is unlimited benefit, really unlimited. If anybody offered anything to Krishna, it says we should never, did we mention this, that we should never compare Ashwamedha Yagya to one obeisances, one offering of respect to Krishna. Because Rupa Goswami mentions this in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. when we offer our respects to Krishna, even this namaskar, even like this, even without bowing down, touching our head to the floor, it's a namaskar. It's an offering of obeisances. So that's one of the 64 processes of bhakti, angas of bhakti. So Rupa Goswami says one should never compare even millions of Ashwamedha yagyas with one offering of respect to the Lord. Because he says by Ashwamedha yagyas you can go to the heavenly planets, you can get a material result. But by offering obeisances to Krishna, you go to the spiritual world and your samsara is finished. So so Krishna never forgets, even if you offer respects one time, Krishna always remembers. If you gave Krishna 1 penny, 1 cent, Krishna will always think, oh, this person, I remember, he gave me 1 penny. This is such a nice person. So neha bikramo nashasti, on this path there is no loss and no diminution. So even just doing the processes, any process, is extremely powerful and glorious. At least we will get another chance and another chance. We will meet devotees again, and we will be able to pick up and continue to meet Krishna and again continue. When Akrura was hiding in Varanasi with the Syamantaka jewel because of a curse, it's a fascinating story of Syamantaka. Then after 1 year, finally Krishna sent Uddhava to bring Akrura back. And we have a verse in Antya Lila where Uddhava tries to explain to Akrura, please come back. Vritasya pashati guruna bina paradan sevam managapi kritam bahudabhyupaiti avishkarodi pishanesha bina vyasuyan shilena nirmalamati purushottamoyam. He says, Akrura, don't be afraid, don't hide away from Krishna. Our Krishna, just think about his character, Shilena Nirmalam. Think about great character of our Lord. If a servant commits an offense, even big offenses, Gurun apinaparadan, Krishna doesn't take into account. He overlooks. Even if a servant makes big offenses, he doesn't think it's very important. Sevam managapi kritam bahudhabhyupai. But the smallest service you do, of course it doesn't mean we should exploit it, but that will be another. But the smallest sevam managapi, the smallest service you do, he thinks bahudha. This is such an important and big service. When Sudama gave him that 1 morsel of rice, they explained one reason Krishna sent him back without openly giving him anything was that Krishna was embarrassed. Krishna thought, I cannot give him an equivalent amount because Sudama has given me more than he had. Because he didn't have this. To get this rice, he had to send the wife to borrow from the neighbors. So he gave me more than he had. He didn't have this morsel of rice. So therefore, to reciprocate equally, I have to give him more than I have. But it does not exist. Because everything is mine. There is no, it cannot be more than I have, because I have everything. So it's not there. So, I cannot give him the same what he gave me. So he thought, okay, I will do it in the night when nobody sees, because I'm shy, I'm embarrassed. That cannot be compared to what he gave to me. So he thought and therefore in the night he gave him palaces better than Indra's, with a emerald floor, sapphire walls, and coral columns. It's an amazing story, Sudama Vipra. So the smallest service he sees as very important. Avishkar, and if somebody is inimical, he doesn't respond with enmity. Somebody is envious, he does not hate back the person. So this is our Krishna. He says to Akrura, and he says, please come back. So Anushina, but Rupa Goswami says there is more. So there is also Krishna. We need to also understand who is Krishna. That Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prabhupada says there is a difference between God and concept of God and concept of absolute truth, if you remember, in Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto. So he says, Krishna is not just God. He's not just top boss. He's not just the biggest boss in the universe. He is the absolute truth. He is transcendental. So there's a difference. And also, nowadays, this word God has so much luggage on it, so many misconceptions. People, and sometimes their mind just shuts off as soon as you say God. They have some different conception, oftentimes mistaken. Ravindra Saruprabhu says, somebody says, I don't believe in God. So he says, can you please tell me which God you don't believe in? And they say, oh, I don't believe in such and such and such, like this and like this. And Ravindra Saruprabhu says, oh, you know, I don't believe in the same God you don't believe in. This God you describe, I also don't believe in. Our God is not like this. Even these famous atheists, the God they deny is not Krishna. What they deny doesn't touch Krishna. Krishna is very different from their concept. He's the absolute truth. But for us, also what is important is, so we know there are three stages of seeing Krishna. One is seeing Krishna in some officially designated place, like we usually say in the temple. But this is not only in the temple. You can see Srila Prabhupada says also, other religions which don't have, which may not have deities, they can also be called Kanishta Bhaktas. So it can be just a temple, can be Sangha, like, I don't know, Buddhists, can be...
Amish also don't have, they can preach anywhere.
Yeah, we have some Protestants who are against any pictures or anything. Muslims, they deny any image. Can be a book, like Sikhs, right? Can be a book. Can even be kirtan. Okay, when there is 5 people, one of them sings in beautiful melody, okay, then Krishna is there. Otherwise, no. Officially, yes, that's officially this, yeah, I accept, that I respect. But each one of these, that's not. Then the next one, Madhyam Bhakta, we respect each person, we make friends with devotees. And if somebody is not a good devotee, then what are we practicing? Compassion. So if you see a defect in somebody, that means we should show compassion. Should be merciful. That's Madhyam Bhakta. And even envious, we are supposed to just be neutral, not hating them, but being neutral to the envious demons, not hating back. So that's Madhyam. And Uttama is you see Krishna all the time, everywhere, and everything in Krishna. And this is also a practice. In Ishopanishad, Prabhupada says these are different levels of a practice. Anupashyati, he says, systematically observes. And we have a nice, so of course, here we are so lucky, it's obvious that this is the Lord. Radha, Gopinath, and Gauranitai, it's so beautiful, it's easier to, bow down, except, you're the Lord, I worship you. And we sing kirtan, we try to serve the Lord. But also, we are instructed to see everybody as Krishna's temple. In the Bhagavatam it's repeated many times. So therefore, Prabhupada says, Krishna means Krishna and his devotees. Krishna means Krishna and his devotees and his energies. Prabhupada says this in the 16th chapter of the first canto, in the Nectar of Devotion, in actually explaining this exact verse. He speaks about this. In Chaitanya Charitamrita. And in 5.26, Rishabhadev says, Sarvani madhishnataya bhavabdesh charani bhutani sutadruvani sambhavitavyani pade padevo viviktadrigvistaduharhanam me. He says, oh my sons, looking at all the movable and immovable entities, please meditate at every step, pade pade, sambhavitavyani, meditate. That means it's a practice. Madhishnya, that all the movable and immovable entities are my temple. Madhishnya. All the movable and immovable living entities are my temple. So, if you, of course, remembering that we are all individual personalities, it's not an impersonal meditation, and this will be tad uharhaname. This will be a worship. In this way you will be worshipping me, he says. Rishabhadev says. So it's a very helpful and powerful meditation to remember that Krishna is present in everybody's heart. And even if we just try to do this, oftentimes I just ask, can I ask you now to everybody, can you please look at Radha Gopinath? It's actually the recommendation for the pujaris to see your deity always and everywhere. So here we see Radha Gopinath, Lalita Vishaka on the altar. And now, so that's very merciful. And now, can you please look at every person in this room and think he's also a small temple of Radha Gopinath, he is a temple of Radha Gopinath, he's a temple of Radha Gopinath, she's also a temple of Radha Gopinath. Can you look at everybody in the room? Before writing, can you please just look at everybody and he is Gopinath, Radha Gopinath's temple, he is Radha Gopinath's temple, and he is the temple of Radha Gopinath, and he is the temple of Radha Gopinath. You are the temple of Radha Gopinath. So, except for two people, please notice, everybody is smiling. Even though
But did it say all moving and not moving?
Yes.
Okay.
Charani and Druvani. Even immovable. I mean, huh?
Look at everything.
Yes, that's the next. Also, it says above, below, left, right, forward, backward. That we see our worshipable Lord all the time. That's in the 11th canto. Krishna describes how to worship the deities. And repeatedly it says that this is how we worship. This is how we meditate. So again. Not only when you are already Uttam Bhakta, it starts with some practice somewhere. So it's a loving meditation. We meditate on our Lord. And in the Bhagavatam it says, again, it's not just some impersonal Paramatma. You see your worshipable Lord. In the Bhagavatam 2.8.4, and even the second verse, it says that when you hear about Krishna, then Krishna, through the ears, enters and sits on the lotus of your heart. So therefore, also Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells Ramananda Roy that Sarvatra Prachara Hoya Nija Ishtadeva Spurti, that a devotee everywhere sees the worshipable Lord. So for you, it's no longer Paramatma, neither in your heart, nor wherever you look, because Krishna reciprocates with you personally. So it's no longer some Kshirodakashaya Vishnu, Sankarshan, it's Krishna, your worshipable Lord, or Radha Gopinath, so whoever is your worshipable Lord that you are trying to develop your relationship with. So this is the exercise, important exercise. So try. I even had one student. He said he started quarreling with his wife, and then and they were quarreling and saying harsh words at each other. I don't know how loudly. I forgot to ask how loudly they were speaking to each other. And then he remembered Krishna is in her heart. And he says, immediately it stopped. I mean, she was not a devotee yet, she was not much of a devotee, I understand. But he just remembered, Krishna is in your heart. And immediately all the quarrel stopped. So, dear devotees, mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters, and sons and daughters, I can say no, also. It works very helpfully. Of course, it's the last thing we want to meditate when we are in such a mood, but we don't want to be in a quarreling mood. That's one of the reasons why Prabhupada says Kanishtas, one of the characteristics of Kanishtas is constant quarreling. Whereas Madhyam and Uttam, there will be less, because we see Krishna. So, yesterday I went on your beautiful promenade there, and I saw you have nice pictures from the Gita and verses, so it's really helpful to remember Krishna all the time. But also we need to have like this in our mind, all the time, that wherever we look, we also are reminded of, we meditate. Krishna is here, this is the temple of Krishna. Even you may say, okay, but he's not worshipping, she's not worshipping, she's not a devotee, he's not a devotee, or he's a bad devotee, or he's a demon. Yeah? But it's like if you see a temple, maybe it's even not maintained, maybe nobody is even worshipping, but will you kick it? Will you spit on a temple? Or for us nowadays, maybe more slightly easier example, if your Guru Maharaj is brought by some car, and the driver is he doesn't follow the four regulative principles, and the driver is not chanting, is not a devotee, and the car is not clean and is not good and not expensive and not nothing, but the car brought your Guru Maharaj in the passenger's seat. Will you kick the car? Will you spit at the car? Will you neglect and insult the driver even? No, it brought your Guru Maharaj, so it's nice. So you will not spit at the car. I mean, I hope you don't spit at, we don't spit at the cars anyway. But especially if it brought our Guru Maharaj, we will not, even in our mind, we will not condemn so much. So if we meditate like this, it helps us. 13th chapter of the Gita says that one does not degrade himself by the mind. If one meditates, sees Krishna all the time, everywhere. Because like in the temple, you try to shape up and be more, just coming to the temple, it elevates our consciousness. So that consciousness helps us to keep our, meditation helps to keep our consciousness on a higher level. So this is the second core element. And the third core element is the most important, anukulyena, the intention to please Krishna. So without this, there is no bhakti. Intention. Not only we do what pleases Krishna, which is already glorious, which is already wonderful, but also our intention is that Krishna is pleased. This is the main purpose why we do this. And it's important to know that this describes every bhakti, not only pure bhakti. Even impure bhakti has to have it. Even if I want something from Krishna, I have to have this favorable mood. Because sometimes we think it's only for pure bhakti. No, every bhakti has to have it. Like in that joke I don't know if it's a simple to say. I said it so many times, I can say it one more time. The daughter comes to the father, Father, Daddy, before you go to work, I just wanted to kiss you goodbye. And he says, daughter, sorry, I have no more money left to give you because your mama has already kissed me goodbye today. So, even if we want to get some gift from Krishna, some present from Krishna, there has to be some favorable attitude. And Krishna doesn't mind. Krishna says, Udara sarva evaite, even if somebody approaches me with some desires, this is glorious, this is good. Parents prefer that children approach them with requests as parents, rather than reject them, right? In fact, it's part of the parental rasa. That parents want to give something. To us. But to make it pure, also, it's not something painful. It's just anyabilashita shunyam. It's not having no other desires. It's having no other constant desires. Not anyabilasha hi shunyam, but anyabilashita. Having no other constant, fixed, continuous desires. Otherwise, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, how would it be sadhana? If you already have to be pure, it means you need some other process to purify yourself. But this is the recommended process. Bhakti is the recommended process. So therefore, we can call it Kevala Bhakti, exclusive Bhakti, Ananya Bhakti. And Jnana Karma Dhyanavritam, we can maybe discuss tomorrow. So we choose Krishna Bhakti as the goal, as the supreme goal, and choose and trust Krishna Bhakti as the absolute process, the best process for everything. And we try to do everything as an offering to Krishna. All the activities as an offering to Krishna. Just as here, we see that Bali Maharaj is glorified as the king. Bali Maharaj is glorified as the king who is from Prahlada Maharaja's dynasty. So one can be a king for Krishna. Prabhupada says, be an engineer for Krishna. And one of the elements is Krishna Arte Akhila Cheshta, all the efforts done for Krishna. It's of course not always so obvious how to do everything for Krishna, but this is our ultimate task, to do everything as service for Krishna. So that's our glorious process, Uttama Bhakti, and this is the most powerful and the quickest process of reconnecting with Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Did anybody try to do something yesterday and today with remembering about this intention? Krishna, this is for you. Did you try? Anybody else? Yes. Okay, please note the smiles of people who tried. I think it's a good indication. And this is the idea that this is a practice. That we forget or it goes away, but we bring it back. And again, Krishna for you. Krishna, I want you to be happy. This is for you. We offer again and again. And meditate also that Krishna is in everybody's heart. And our Krishna is kind. Hare Krishna. Some questions or comments? Some points? Yes, ma'am.
Yesterday you said in the class that usually we, referring to this verse, we mistake the meaning, we take two meanings to be mistaken, and the first is that we think that bhakti has to be completely pure, and what was the second one?
So pure bhakti can mean two things. It can mean a level of purity, or it can mean a process, which is pure. So unfortunately, we have started using only one meaning, the level, and it almost becomes our exclusive usage. Who is a pure devotee? Are you a pure devotee? Who is a pure? And therefore, when we read, for example, Akrura's prayers, by which he achieved perfection, and in those prayers, or even Sri Upanishad 15, Akrura in his prayer says, "Oh Krishna, I am your pure devotee." And I remember I was reading and I felt uncomfortable. I thought, "Oh my God, it's such a proud statement. How can he say like this? I'm a pure devotee. What is he saying? It's so not humble to say I'm a pure devotee." Because in our mind, but it is a very humble statement. I'm your pure devotee means that Krishna, I accept you as my only goal. Krishna, I agree to have bhakti as my only shelter. It is a humble statement if we take shelter in the process. But if you take it only as a level, it's, oh my God, I'm a pure devotee. What does he? Who does he think he is? It's where is his humility? They should say, no, I'm nothing. I'm useless. I'm dirty or something. But Bhaktisiddhantaji in his what is Harmonist, Sajjanatoshani? No, Harmonist. He was writing. Next Tuesday we have a meeting for Krishna Katha where all the pure devotees are invited. So, would you come to Bhaktisiddhantaji's class in response to this invitation? In his newspaper, all the pure devotees are invited. Yeah? It was not a proud statement. It was not addressing only those who can, float 5 centimeters above ground. No, it meant that those who want to accept Krishna only, and Krishna Bhakti. So this is the second meaning. That this is a process also. Okay. But again, it's not to quarrel with people, not to create another, banner for debating. We can try to avoid disturbing people's minds by saying exclusive devotion or Kevala Bhakti. We are practicing Kevala Bhakti, that exclusive Bhakti. Then it doesn't sound so proud, right? Or Ananya Bhakti. Prabhu, you had some point?
Yeah, it was more a statement that
yes.
I practice it 40 years, but usually do it for myself, to become purified, to become happy, to become peaceful. Actually, do it for Krishna it's very rare that I have that feeling. Very rare.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking there is one statement that there's 4 kinds of bhakti. One is in ignorance, one is in passion, one is in goodness, and one is in transcendental. And only in the transcendental mode you're doing it for Krishna. In goodness you do it to get one purified. In passion you do it to get material benefits. And in ignorance, I don't really understand that word.
To hurt others.
To hurt others, right, but I don't really understand how to hurt others.
And separatistic mood also.
Thank you, this is very humble.
That's the truth.
Well, I have a comment on the comment. I remember when I first was studying, actually when this point about anukuliyana, favorable mood, was I heard, it impressed me strongly in one lecture I heard on a tape from Niranjana Swami, where there was a meeting of some leaders, and he said, like for 2 hours, he was saying, so what? How long have you been practicing now? So what? It's 20 years, 10 years, so what do you have to show for that? So what have you achieved? Have you achieved peace? Have you achieved advancement? Are you kind? Are you merciful? Do you love Krishna? Do you have taste? And like for 2 hours he was grilling, and it was
and you were becoming smaller, and then like at the end you said, oh, what to do? So then only at the end, 5 minutes, he says, he brought out this point that not only you need to do, but you need to do this for Krishna's pleasure. And I was shocked. My God, it's and then I tried. Next day I took my japa and then I went to chant and okay, Krishna for you. Hare Krishna chapati, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama pizza, Hare Krishna dhoti. Oh, what he said this. Oh, wait. Okay. Oh yeah, for Krishna. Okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Okay, no, for you. Hare Rama. And then after 20 minutes, somehow it connected. Hare Krishna. Oh! And wow! Krishna takes. When we offer, Krishna accepts. There's immediate connection. That's the magic of bhakti. But what was the next second? Oh, my japa is so great. Oh, now I know the secret. Oh yeah, I'm a big devotee. Yeah, Hare Krishna, Hare. And then it's gone. Finished. Me. That's. But this is why it's called practice. Practice means repetition. Even 1 split second is the immeasurable gain, unlimited, the infinite good fortune. If we manage to offer for 1 split second, not even full second, 1/10,000th of a second, it's the unlimited good fortune if we did it. But practice means, again, we try to find 1 more, and 1 more, and 1 more. And then it collects. Yoga Sutra says this. Even sattvic samskaras accumulate, and they work like medicine. They also imperceptibly inside can purify, can crystallize or structure themselves to like we know that people like also this Bhakti-Unmukhi Sukriti, people make fun of devotees and then, or maybe even fight with devotees, but then after a few years they themselves become devotees. So it accumulates. All these transcendental impressions, they accumulate. So there is no loss there. But this is the what we need to do, the shoot part, heavy part, but again it's a practice. That's why it's important. But on the encouraging side, Bhakti Sandarbha says, that Jiva Goswami says, that Krishna, even what to do if you're not always conscious of this, that Krishna looks in his notebook, in his diary, and he says, 40 years ago he said, okay Krishna, this is for you. Okay, so then let me count this all as bhakti, yoga, that he has offered in the beginning, so I will count, okay, in the beginning he offered, so all of this I will count as offered. So we get Krishna's, as in that verse, that Krishna takes the smallest offering as the unlimited, very important service. But why I think it's important to discuss, because I think this is the main reason why we are dissatisfied and not enthusiastic and not happy in devotional service, because we do not connect with Krishna. It's not even about purity, it's about connection. And connection is through this anukulyena, through this hard to express in words, imperceptible attitude of Krishna. It's the essence of love. It's Krishna, I love you. Krishna, I want you to be happy. I will be happy if you are happy. Maybe even I want something for this, maybe. Even that is possible, even in the moments. Maybe after that I will ask you for a very nice piece of Mahaprasad. Or whatever it is. That's even for that. But even material desires are not an obstacle, as we mentioned yesterday. That's a big, again, misconception that, it's for me, no, not today, not now. How can I do it pure? I still have desires. No, wait. First I fulfill, then. No, it doesn't have to be like this. That's why very mercifully Rupa Goswami uses Anyabhilashita. No,
fixed desires, no other fixed priorities, or as he says, no other identities. That I'm a man, I'm this, I'm a Brahmana, I'm a Kshatriya. No, I'm Krishna Das. So if we, okay, Krishna, I'm a Krishna Das, but I'm a Kshatriya Krishna Das, like Bali Maharaj. He got the whole universe. And it's no problem. Now he rules Sutala. Till today, he rules Sutala. It's the best planet in the universe, according to Vamana Deva. But it doesn't mean he's not a pure devotee. So it can be offered. And, but with surrender. So meaning that, Krishna, I'm sure that for serving you, I need a Rolls Royce. It's a good preaching. You know, you come in a Rolls Royce somewhere, and then it's very impressive, right? Then they give better donations, hopefully, right? So, and we have the example of Chitraketu, who thought that he was a pure devotee. He got a darshan, but he thought that it will be cool if he can fly in a spaceship with thousands of beautiful girls doing Harinam Sankirtan. He thought it would be a cool preaching. And it was a cool preaching, right? With Vidyadharis. Of course, later I read that all of these girls were his wives from his previous life. So even in that case, no problem. It was actually... So he's the example Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives of a devotee, pure devotee, who has desired this type of a material amenity for serving, and Krishna granted. And of course, after that, he also illustrated how even as a demon, having a demon body, Vritrasura, he's able to serve Krishna.
Yeah, regarding when you asked the Shunya, pretty much a revolutionary insight I got yesterday from your presentation. At least we discussed that a little bit. Later, I was looking at Srila Prabhupada's commentaries on the same verse. And in fact, at least a number of us were getting quite clear understanding this without any tinge of karma and jnana. And repeatedly Prabhupada is saying it's pure devotional service without. And maybe you can just kind of...
I thought I will speak about this tomorrow. For me, it took 20 years to figure out this jnana karma dhyanavritam. Not studying, but actually teaching. I'm sorry, Vanchakalvatam. Even Anyabhilashita Shunyam. And that, actually, I don't know. It's overtime anyway. You can go and take breakfast. But I will say no.
If you go tomorrow, then you go already tomorrow.
I can mention it. I mean, it's such a thing that, if it took me 20 years, then I can mention it more than once, and it's going to be fresh even for me.
But a child should be able to understand.
So, I remember studying Bhakti Shastri, and I remember the feeling of such a great enthusiasm and inspiration when I found out about the yoga ladder. There is a yoga ladder, because for me, I was in the beginning of my Krishna consciousness, and I felt very like in an outer space, like after 2-3 years, I realized I'm not a pure devotee. No, first I realized I'm not an avatar. That's usually the first 3 months you realize it. Then you realize you're not a big sage and saint. And then I realized I'm not even a pure devotee. Then am I a devotee at all? And then, I felt like, where am I? Bhakti is somewhere, I can't even, somewhere there, like a star. And material life somewhere there, I don't want to go back. So where am I? I'm like, like a spaceman, like empty space. No support. What is this? And then, first time Purnachandra Maharaj, he came. It was such a mercy by Krishna that I was taking part. And he explained this yoga ladder. And it turned out that between there and there's a ladder.
So there is karma yoga with desires, attachment to fruits, attachment to work, then nishkama karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga. There's steps, and all of a sudden I thought, oh, there's a step, and there's another step. Oh, I felt there's a ground under my feet. Now I felt so enlivened, so happy. That put the start for my studying and teaching for the rest of my devotional life. And so, for many years, I actually refused to teach Bhakti Shastri. I hope it's not recorded.
No, it's not recorded.
In Vrindavan, my seniors, they came and they said, you teach. I said, I have this reason I didn't want to teach, so they come. Why? He said, I think we should all do mixed bhakti. It looks more practical and doable. It looks more, realistic. And I said, that's okay. That's okay. Pradhan. Later, it's not really to be called mixed bhakti, it's more pradhanya. Means bhakti in the first place. What we condemn is gona, when bhakti is secondary. When we do want ultimately to come to Krishna, it's not really what we condemn as mixed bhakti, because still your goal is Krishna. It's just that we don't have complete purity and maybe complete trust in bhakti. So many senior devotees, when I shared this, they said, yeah, just do it, karna pray, just nurtsu. And it's no problem. They say, yeah, you can speak about it. So only after actually studying Bhakti Vaibhava and Bhakti Vedanta, the full Bhagavatam, it dawned on me that actually you can do bhakti even while still having material desires and just accept Krishna as your ultimate goal. So oftentimes I was wondering, because two sides of this seem to be very similar. No material desires and anyabilasha shunyam, and jnana karma dhyana very often also is translated without fruitive and impersonal, without a desire for fruitive activities or impersonal liberation, monistic liberation. So it sounds also like a desire. So how is it different from other desires? So after many years, it dawned on me, and Prabhupada does, I will show you, there are some translations where Prabhupada actually explicitly shows it. I think in Upadeshamrita, and I will find those places where he more clearly brings it out. So what you have here are processes. So it's more subtle that to finally accept that, first of all, bhakti is enough, or bhakti is powerful, I can do bhakti and it will give everything. And even more subtly, that even my so-called material duties I can do for Krishna as pure bhakti. So therefore, jnana is there, karma is there, but they do not cover in my heart where I take shelter. So in other words, in my heart, I place my trust in bhakti. I think that, yeah, it's all included. Jnana is included, yoga is included. We work, we try to meditate, we do everything. But we know that I advance, because before I thought I advance by renouncing the enjoyment. That's karma yoga, that's karma mishra bhakti. Then I thought I advance by learning to distinguish or developing spiritual qualities. That's jnana yoga, jnana mishra bhakti. So I thought, this is how I understand, this is how I advance. And then after that I will do pure bhakti. So that, it's still pradhanya, it's not bad, it's not rejected. Bhagavatam accepts it. It can be, called pure in the sense it's not hypocritical. It's not, I'm not cheating anybody, Krishna or anything. I want Krishna, I'm honest. That, yeah, I want you to be happy, Krishna. But we don't have to wait. It can be faster by Kevala Bhakti if I put my trust that actually I advance not by renouncing, not by meditating, not by deepening my knowledge, but by
Krishna's pleasure. By offering this what I do for Krishna's pleasure. This is the factor that helps me advance. So, bhakti, so my faith is in bhakti. This is the mechanism of my advancement, not my learning how to find a bad desire and renounce, or how to find a difference between matter and spirit. You know, these are the yogas. But by Krishna's pleasure. I can do this. I can do all of these things, but for Krishna. For Krishna's pleasure. And when I do this for Krishna, when I offer this for Krishna's pleasure, then the process is 1,000,000 times faster. Okay, 1,000 times faster. Depends. Actually, yeah, it's in the commentaries that Karma Yoga takes millions of lives, Jnana Yoga thousands, Dhyana Yoga hundreds of lifetimes. Meditation.
Bhakti 1?
Usually 3.
Yeah, okay.
But in the Gita, Krishna suggests use only one life. Also, Prabhupada says, okay, finish the business in one life. That's why it's a little bumpy, because we have the 3-life program squeezed into one life, so it's goes fast. And when you go fast, you may have experience. Even you have a nice autobahn, I had an experience, you know, you go fast, it becomes bumpy. I was surprised. When you go slower, when you go fast, it becomes bumpy. So that's why it's a little bumpy, a little sometimes. So, trust in bhakti, this is the difference. In other words, the process, I can accept the process. And it's not cheap to have, it's your decision, it's our decision, but sometimes it takes, it sounded so simple when I read that one who trusts, one who has faith in Krishna Katha should do bhakti. And I thought, yeah, I have faith. Faith I have, what's the problem? It turned out, no, I didn't. I had faith more in Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga. In bhakti, in the school of bhakti, but not as bhakti. Turned out it took me 20 years of very systematic study to actually place my full faith actually by bhakti. It's possible. It's the process, best process. So now we can all. I mean, I'm sure you have figured it out long before me. I'm just sharing. I'm a slow learner, so that's why I'm sharing this. Everywhere, so everybody can do this in 1 year, in half a year. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srimad Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Radha Gopinath ki jai.
Adipurasa Prabhu ki
Jai.
Radhadesh Mandir ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
That you bring tomorrow morning. What happens? Because I took it from the college. And I will bring you the second file. That is the remote control on our side.
Oh, actually, I have this also. But I don't need it because the remote control for the computer.
So you don't need it. I can bring it anyway tomorrow morning. So you
And it also has the laser.
yes, this one has a laser.
Oh no, I think this is okay. It was really difficult for me when you chant to make a sculpture and embellishment to your chanting, because it was like there's a thing like this, right, which is around.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have it's too short. So the whole thing is impossible to make longer. Yeah. We have to find some other. Okay, I will look because upstairs in the office there's two of these Balaram dangas which are not used. And maybe one of them has longer steps that you take off. Okay, I'll try to ask you if you see me tomorrow, ask you again, did you do it recently? I have a very bad memory, but ask me tomorrow again. I hope I did it.